Let's continue to talk about your health now. When we get sick, we have a habit of blaming it on the environment, on seasonal changes in weather patterns, on our weakening immunity, and sometimes we blame it on our genes. They say our past shapes our present and future. Well, this holds true when it comes to our health as well. Why am I saying that? Because a pioneering study now finds that our genes have a bigger role to play than we think. A devastating event which took place some 700 years ago has left an incredible mark on all of us, even today. I'm talking about the plague, the pandemic which ravaged Europe in the 1300s. Nearly 200 million people died. It was termed as the Black Death. And listen to this, that dark moment in history from 700 years ago is still affecting our health today. Let me explain. Scientists analyzed the DNA of centuries-old skeletons. They found mutations that help people survive the plague. Again, some 700 years ago. At the center of this finding is a gene called ERAP2. And here is where it gets interesting. Say, your ancestors who survived the plague had this high-functioning gene. They passed it down generations, and some of you today, walking among us, also have this mutation. Believe it or not, these mutations are more common than we think. The findings were published in the Nature journal, and they're significant. Scientists found that genetic traits that determined who survived the Black Death. What do I mean by that? Here's what one author of the study had to say. Listen in.
What we can say with certitude is that the individual that we sampled after the plague, so that lived 1-2 generations after the Black Death, by definition, they are the descendants of the survivals, right? So they must carry the genes of those that survived the infection.
Let's break down the study further. So what do we make of this significant finding? Well, it's not all good news. The study also finds that these plague-resisting mutations have been linked to present-day autoimmune diseases. And one of them is a common inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's. So unfortunately, what helped your ancestors survive the plague 700 years ago is damaging your health today. But why? Well, there is no clear answer. Listen in.
I don't think that there's no formal demonstration as to why this genetic variant increases the risk for Crohn's disease. We can speculate, but it's more studies are going to be needed to establish that link.
So it seems that our ancestors left us with a biological legacy. Genes which helped them survive the Black Death are making us more susceptible to certain illnesses today. So if an event which happened 700 years ago is affecting us today, let's ask an important question. On the basis of this study, can scientists spot a change in immune system caused by COVID-19, say hundreds of years from now? Here's an answer.
That killed 30 to 50% of the population. So it's a massive event, right? In COVID, things were not great, but we are very, 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 very far from those type of statistics, right? It probably killed, 0.0 some percent of the population, right? It's a very, very different scenario.
So what does this research leave us with? For one, it shows us how our past continues to shape our present. While other studies have shown us how the plague affected the human genome, this particular study throws light on one crucial aspect of human evolution. It shows us how our immune system has evolved. As morbid as it sounds, this research shows us the impact of deadly pandemics on our bodies, and that too over centuries. Now that is something to think about. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.